So an extraordinary development took place in the Supreme Court today. On 19 September this year, the CBI had registered a very serious FIR alleging that there was a conspiracy and preparation to bribe judges of the Supreme Court in connection with a medical college case which was going on before the Supreme Court. Immediately after that FIR, the CBI conducted some raids and apparently arrested some people, including a retired judge of the Odisha High Court, and recovered about 2 crores in cash. They also apparently arrested a middleman who had been engaged to influence the Supreme Court judges, who was from Odisha. After that, we don't know what further investigation the CBI has done. But given the seriousness of this matter, which affected the independence and integrity of the judiciary, we felt that this is a matter which cannot be left in the hands of a caged parrot of the government, namely the CBI, and this needs to be investigated by an independent, fair body which will do a thorough investigation, and it should be monitored by a former Chief Justice of this Supreme Court. So this petition was filed seeking that SIT monitored by the Supreme Court and headed by a former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. This petition was mentioned for hearing day before yesterday before Court 2 for 2 reasons. One, Court number 1 was in the Constitution bench and therefore mentionings for urgent listing were before Court 2. Secondly, in any case, the Chief Justice, since he was directly involved in this matter, therefore he ought not to have either heard this matter on the judicial or the administrative side. The Court number 2 directed that this matter should be heard on Friday before his bench, but thereafter at lunchtime I received information from the registry that no, the Chief Justice has passed some order listing it before some other bench. Court number, later we came to know it was Court number 6. Yesterday another petition was filed by Kamini Jaiswal asking a similar petition, in which again an urgent mentioning was made, and it was then directed to be heard at 12:45 p.m. yesterday by Court number 2. And Court number 2 passed an order saying that this is a very serious matter involving the independence and integrity of the judiciary, and therefore it should be heard by a bench of 5 senior-most judges of the Supreme Court. They also directed that all the material collected by the CBI should be placed before the registrar of the court, who should place it before the judges when this bench takes up this matter. Today, when our matter came up on Friday before Court number 6, what I understood the court, I told the court that there is already an order referring this matter to a constitution bench of 5 senior judges, and therefore it should be tagged along with that. And I thought and I understood that they had passed that order tagging it with that matter. But thereafter at 2:45 I received a call from the registry saying that there is a 7-judge bench being constituted in the Chief Justice's court and I should immediately come to Court number 1. When I went there, I found that there were 7 chairs, but then 2 chairs were removed and eventually 5 judges came, and which included the Chief Justice, but none of the other senior judges of the Supreme Court, some other 4 relatively junior judges. When the hearing began, I told the Chief Justice that he ought not to be dealing with this matter because the FIR effectively mentions, that does not name him, but it effectively refers to him when it says that the judge is dealing with this case and he was dealing with this case. There was an attempt and a conspiracy to bribe those judges. Now, ignoring that, he kept asking other lawyers in the court to say various things, and mostly they started saying that court number 2 ought not to have heard this matter, court number 2 could not have passed an order saying that it should be listed before a bench of 5 senior judges, etc., and that this prerogative was only with the Chief Justice. When I wanted to say something, and I repeatedly asked the Chief Justice that, look, I am the counsel for the petitioner, you are hearing all these random lawyers, and I should be given a hearing so that I can tell you what we are saying, why we had filed this petition, what had happened thereafter, and why that order referring it to the 5 senior most judges should not be undermined. But every time the Chief Justice said that no, I don't need to hear you, and he kept hearing other random lawyers. So eventually, in frustration, I had to leave the court and tell the court that, all right, you pass any order that you want in my absence. And eventually, after I left, I believe the order that has been passed really undermines the order of Justice Chelameshwar, the number 2 judge, referring this matter to 5 senior most judges of the Supreme Court on Monday, that he has passed an order saying that this matter will be listed after 2 weeks before a bench to be nominated by the Chief Justice. So it's really a very, very sad day in the history of the Supreme Court. Firstly, I have not seen this kind of extraordinary interest being taken by a Chief Justice or any judge in a matter which involves him directly. And this kind of unseemly proceedings which took place in the Supreme Court. When I tried to leave the court, I was almost manhandled by some of the lawyers who were there, who were trying to prevent me from leaving the court. Eventually, I had to be escorted out of the court. So it's a very sad day in the history of the judiciary, which is certainly going to undermine the image of the judiciary and even public confidence in the judiciary. And I think the time has come for all concerned citizens who feel that the judiciary is a very, very important institution in this country to come together and think of how this institution is to be saved.